Before we get back to the Cavs, guys, March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the net. I've got my eye on a few underdogs this year, and FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. So all I have to do is visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get in on all the college hoops action all tournament long.
All right, guys, the question we have for you now is, who do you want the Cavs to play in the first round of the playoffs? Tyvis?
So I was looking at the bottom four teams. It's the Hawks, the Magic, the Heat, and the Bulls. Who do I want them to play?
Yeah.
Yo, start with the idea. We'll do best and worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So start with
The best case scenario is they play the Bulls.
I agree.
They win that game in 4. They have rest time after that, and they move on.
For the record, the Bulls are playing a lot better than the Heat right now.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I'd rather play the Bulls in the first round because the Cavs will win in 4, and they have rest time after that.
That's right.
The worst case scenario would probably be the Magic.
I had the same two answers. Even though I do think there's a chance Toronto could sneak in because Miami's just completely tanking.
But they're 5.5 up on Toronto.
Yeah, Miami's lost 8 in a row.
6 in the loss column.
But they over the last
Yeah.
two months, they're a plus 500 team. Miami's literally cratering.
Yeah.
But I still am worried if Spo gets into the playoffs, it's still Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
Like they could throw something out of there, pull something out of the Magic hat. I want to play Chicago. They have no answer for Cleveland defensively. They cannot stop Cleveland, even if they make a few shots.
Yeah.
We saw in that game a couple weeks ago, it was 107 with 6 minutes to go, and then Cleveland went on a 32-9 run to close the game. Like, I'd be shocked if it even went 5 against Chicago. I think they beat Orlando in 5, but that is the worst case scenario just because of the physicality.
Yeah.
And they're not
Yeah.
scared of Cleveland whatsoever.
Not
If
at
there's
all.
anything that we learned from Sunday's matchup, I don't take the result as any kind of indication of how a playoff series would go. But Paolo and Franz, those guys aren't scared of the Cavs in any capacity, and it's physical. And more than I'd be worried about the Cavs losing that series, I'd be worried about just the pure physicality of that game taking a toll on the Cavs later. It'd be like a heavy 5-game series where each one's a drag-out, bare-knuckle brawl.
Yeah.
And in the first round, when you're the 1 seed, I want an easy ride. I want a clean sweep. And/or if it goes 5, well, you don't have to exert a ton of energy. I do think if you play Orlando, we get at least 3 games.
What about Atlanta? They haven't played well against Atlanta. I know they've lost.
Not the same team, not Jalen
Yeah,
Johnson.
that's what I said.
So
Jalen
all these
Johnson.
teams besides Orlando are terrible.
I feel
They're all
very-
hideous.
Yeah, I think the
so
Cavs
it doesn't
all-
matter
yeah.
unless they'll still beat Orlando, but that would be the most. That's the only series that's going to be
I think
at least anywhere.
If you're going off of competitives, it would be Orlando, probably the Heat, then Atlanta, then the Bulls. I think those
or
are.
even Toronto, Brooklyn, and Philly. If you're saying Toronto, Brooklyn, and Philly are only a game behind them.
Brooklyn
so.
keeps winning games, and
Philly is done.
Philly's dead. Yeah, Philly's
Hey,
done.
PG gone.
I mean, it's so embarrassing. Those teams are like 20 games under 500. They still
They
have
have
a shot.
no business being.
All of those, the Cavs would sweep
Wait,
all of those teams
what?
besides Orlando. I think.
Yeah.
Could Miami or Atlanta get one game?
They could pull a
maybe?
game. I mean,
The Sixers is doing that bad.
they're that bad. Yes,
I
they're
would.
that bad.
I would think. You never know. It's one
They
game.
22 games.
I would assume that Orlando will end up being the 7 seed. I would think if
Yeah,
they're
so
healthy.
if it goes how it is now, the 7 plays the 8, so Atlanta will play Orlando.
Right.
Winner of that game gets the
Is
7.
the 7 seed, which
Losing-
is probably Orlando. You'd think.
I would think Orlando could beat Atlanta,
Yeah.
but we've seen Trae Young
never
in
know in
one-game
one game.
situations
Yeah,
get
yeah,
hot,
yeah.
and then 9-10 play. Winner of that plays the loser of 7-8.
The
to get
West
the
is that much better than the East, man.
At
On
the-
the bottom.
at the bottom,
The
yes.
bottom, yeah. I mean, the bottom.
I
of the
mean,
East, it
top
is.
to bottom. Well,
No, the top is
Well,
right.
the Cavs have the East has a top 2, a better top 2 than the West does, but then
Yeah.
the depth of the West is
Right,
better than the depth of the
Yeah,
East.
the Knicks are locked into the 3 pretty much. 4 to 6 is a complete toss-up.
Detroit could finish with the 4 seed bowl.
They could. They're only 2 games back in the loss column of Indiana for the 4 seed, so that's very much up in the air. And Atlanta or Orlando will probably be 7 and 8, and then the Bulls, Miami, with a couple of teams a little further behind them. But Brooklyn is 23 games under 500, and they're 7 games in the loss column behind Miami.
I know this is the Cleveland show, but didn't the Pistons give Monty Williams like a massive contract?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
fired him after 1 year.
And he's still getting paid?
Oh, yeah. Coaching contracts are guaranteed.
Wow.
Yeah.
He also got fired from Phoenix and is getting paid by them, too.
And what is he doing currently, you know?
Sitting on his
living
ass
his
on a
best
beach.
life on an
probably.
island somewhere, yeah.
So anyway, I think we're all in agreement. The team most of the teams that are in there now, we all rather than play
the Bulls.
The Bulls, the least
Is
rather
Orlando.
than play as Orlando. I think the only debate is who would be your second choice to play, whether it be Atlanta or Miami.
Atlanta's more talented than Miami, but Spo is the one X factor. But I'd rather play Miami than Atlanta. I'll be honest. I don't think Miami can score.
Spo a little overrated.
That team sucks. And
Yeah.
Right now they're losing. I think they're tanking. If you watch them, they've had
The players are trying to lose.
Or is Terry Rozier?
Terry Rozier
he
has
caught
done
up in
that.
some other stuff.
I don't
It's
know.
illegal.
I don't know the stat. I heard Kevin O'Connor say this the other
bad
day.
with them people.
The best way to make money right now is wait for the second Miami gets a lead in the second half and then bet the other team's money line. Yeah. They have given up, and I don't remember the exact number. I'll try to find it once we have Tommy Shell on my phone.
Bet.
They have lost so many second half leads lately.
Yeah.
Like double digit, and it makes you think.
You can't you can't lose games on purpose when you're a player. That would be a whole scandal.
Listen,
the Terry Rozier stuff don't look good, boy.
The Heat has been in the playoffs probably every year since LeBron got there, right? Has there ever been a time where
It's so easy to make the playoffs, though.
But they're in limbo. They're not good enough to be good, and they're not bad enough to be bad.
Yeah.
So if they just take this 1 year off and get a good lottery pick, how's the NBA draft this year?
Very good.
So last year was very bad. This year is
considered a very strong draft.
Supposed to be deep, right?
So if you can get a top 5 pick, that could be you pair them with Bam
and Hero. You got money coming off the books because you're not paying Butler as much.
Khalil Ware.
Yeah.
I
Hey.
mean, who gives a rat's
You got you a
about
core
the Miami
4.
Heat?
The truth is, to the conversation where we started,
Yeah.
the Cavs should have no real issues with any team they play in the first round.
And
Orlando would be the one.
They would never say they wouldn't want to play Orlando of all those teams.
No.
But
that'd be the funnest
it's
one.
the only
Everybody be
competition
locked
that there
in
could possibly be. I mean,
to see
Orlando's the only team you can make a case could win 2 games in that series. The only one.
Paulo and Ty Jerome.
I wouldn't think they would, but it's the only one you could even make
They could.
any kind of
they
case.
certainly could. Yeah, but I would not anticipate.
Go ahead.